for making publicity for my website. So thank you so much. It's everything free of charge, so you can download everything, make copy, and sell by yourself, making money with my books. So I'm so happy to see you. So many people on the screen. Some I know, some I do not know. But many people were asking ideas about what is the Baha'i faith, and because this is a very important subject to know exactly what is the Baha'i faith, because sometimes we hear people talking about the Baha'i faith without giving exactly what is the meaning of this faith. And so I asked Payam if it is possible to have a session on the Baha'i faith, a worldwide religion. So we'll just talk 20 minutes, and then I will ask you to make question or to tell or to say anything you like about the subject. So the Baha'i faith is a word faith, independent and revealed. It's a word faith because it's present in every place of the world. The British Encyclopedia has written that there are more than 8 million believers spread across the globe. In any place you go on the planet, you find Baha'is. Even in small islands in the ocean, even in the Arab countries, in South Africa, in India, in China, South America, you find Baha'is. So this is why it's a worldwide religion. Then it's an independent religion because it's not a sect of any existent religion. And is revealed because the Baha'i Faith has his own founder with a difficult name, which is Mirza Hossein Ali from Noor, but he is very well known all around the planet with the title of Baha'u'llah. The title of Baha'u'llah in English is the Glory of God, and he appeared in the 1800s. He was born in 1817 and he passed away in 1892. There are three main guidelines given by Baha'u'llah in his faith. You have to know that Baha'u'llah has written everything in his life. So what I'm going to say during this short conversation has coming from the writings of Baha'u'llah himself. Because this is the first time in the religion's realm that the founder of a religion is writing by himself, and we have the original of his writings at the Baha'i World Center. There are three guidelines that Baha'u'llah has given to mankind for about his faith. First, God is only one. He's unknowable, but he's only one. There are not several gods. And just to make an example, coming from the writings of the Baha'i Faith, we can make the example that God is like the sun. We have only one sun, but we call it in different way, depending from the language from which we call him. But it's always, we think about the sun in English, in French, in Arabic, in Italian. We generally understand about what we are referring. So this unique God has been prayed, has been seen, has been imagined in a different way, but is always the same. So when we say Allah, when we say Jehovah, when we say God, when we say Dieu, when we say Dio, we generally refer to the same reality, exactly when we say sun, sole, soleil, or something like this. This is very important to understand because when God has created his mankind, God has prepared a universal education plan to let the humanity to grow up. And he has provided to send from time to time a spiritual teacher who would guide mankind to a society in continuous progress. These spiritual teachers have been called prophets, manifestation of God, or spiritual teachers. And there are many who came in the history. Some of them we know because some documents have talking about them. For example, we know someone called Krishna, someone called Buddha, another one was called Zoroaster. Then we know Abraham, Moses, Jesus, very well known, and Muhammad. In the 1800, another one came with the name of Baha'u'llah. They are coming all from the same source, and nobody is in contradiction with the previous one. To avoid misunderstanding, I make an example of a school course. The children, which are the mankind, humanity, pass from one class to the upper class, changing the teacher without denying the previous teacher and acquiring knowledge and values useful and necessary to solve the problems of the class in which they are. So the course is progressive because the child, starting from the first class, goes to the secondary class, secondary level, to the third level, to the high class, and then to the university, without denying the teachers of the previous courses and increasing in a progressive way the knowledge and the values which will be used in his own life during his profession. So this means that all the religions are the same because they are coming in a different time. They talk to the population in a different way because the population had a different level of knowledge, and the prophet was talking and speaking with principles and ideas in the way that the community could understand the way that he was talking about. The second fact that we have to understand that due to the fact that the planet was not completely well known and the communication system were not as the communication system of today, for thousands of years, many of the areas were totally isolated. South America was not known until 1492. Australia, New Zealand, they came after 1500. The way of transportation were not at such level that people could go from one area to another. This is why God has sent so many messengers of God, so many prophets. And this is why many of them we don't know because the culture did not write down what they say. But the fact that Baha'u'llah is telling us that the plan was an education plan that God has foreseen to educate mankind slowly, slowly, until he became at the age of maturity. The age of maturity is the age where we live today, where we can move from one side to another. The instruments we can use are telling us everything about the rest of the planet, the rest of the countries. And this is why the last spiritual teacher came and he's talking with the whole mankind. Because the third guideline, so the first guideline is there's only one God. The second guideline is all the religions are coming from the same God. The third guideline is that the plan has been done by God in order the population of this planet could go slowly, slowly to the idea of unity on mankind. So the guideline that Baha'u'llah is giving us is that the human species is only one. Although is infinitely diversified in secondary aspects of life, and the secondary aspects of life are the color of the skin, the gender, the nationality, the religion from which we are coming through to the tradition, the fact that we were born in a different country, but the species is only one. So just not to be misunderstood, I make an example about unification of the people of the planet, taking an example that Baha'u'llah is quoting in his writing. Men and women of the planet are like the flowers of a garden. A garden is not with the flowers with only one color. But the beauty of the garden is increased by different colors, different perfumes, different variety, different shapes, embellishing the garden. So one God, the religion is only one, and mankind is only one, are the three main guidelines that Baha'u'llah is giving us as a spiritual teacher for today. The three lines are, are telling us that Baha'u'llah is bringing to humanity the teaching of unity. And to be very clear about the teaching of unity, I'm quoting a quotation from his writings, which is giving the right vision to us. He says that the earth is but one country and mankind is citizen. So the earth is like a common house, it's like a house. You live in a house because everybody of you has a house. To go from the kitchen to the sitting room, you don't ask any permission, you don't need any visa, you don't have a policeman asking where are you going from one side to another. You don't change your currency, you don't change your language because the house is a common house. So Baha'u'llah is saying that the example of the house is to be applied to the planet. The planet is one country. So we are free to move from one side to another. We are free to understand the differences due to the fact that the planet has many different colors, many different aspects that should come together. The second part of the phrase, the earth is but one country and mankind its citizen, is telling us about citizenship. Now, I'm an Italian and I have an Italian passport. Due to the fact that I have an Italian passport, some important items are granted by the passport. For example, freedom in my place. I can go to school free of charge. In the case of virus, I will be cared freely, and I can go anytime, any place I want to go because the Italian passport is giving me Italian citizenship, and this is granting a lot of items. But someone who was born in the Congo will not have the same items granted. So when Baha'u'llah speaks about mankind is its citizens, he speaks about citizenship of the world. We are not citizens of Italy, citizens of Germany, citizens of Malta, but we are citizens of the world. And this is a new item which is giving us a new vision like the flowers of a garden. So the first thing that we have to understand is these two main pillars coming from the writings of Baha'u'llah. One globally, so the earth is but one country, and on the other side, the population of this planet are really the citizens of the planet, world citizens. So if a child is born in the Congo, in Zimbabwe, he should have the same rights to have items granted as the children who are born in Italy. So the goal is very important because if we want to have a united planet, we also need the instruments and the means to reach the unity of mankind. Baha'u'llah in his writing is not giving only a focus and a vision, an idea, a philosophical idea that the earth should become a common house. But he's also giving in such a fantastic details the instruments with which we have to reach the unity of mankind. For example, a global legislation body. So we need a legislative body who will give the laws for the whole planet. If we make an example about the environment today, we have 220 countries on the planet. And each one of them is applying different rules to approach an environment which is unique because the Earth is like a ball in the space. We cannot approach the environment in 200 different ways. So a legislature body should legislate for the whole planet, and all the countries, territories, and nations should follow the legislation of the international global legislation body. Two, we need a world government, an executive body, to put into action the laws that the legislative body is giving to the planet. This is very important because today, for example, takes us the idea of the virus. The virus is international, as I said last time, but the nations are approaching the virus in a different way. Each nation is really opening now the countries in a different way. This is a chaos because there is not an international body who takes care of the international decisions. For example, the international, the world government, so who will implement the laws and the measures given by the legislative body, should also publish an economic system. And the economic system in the writings of Baha'u'llah is with one currency only. I'm an economist. You don't know how the economy in the world is in crisis due to the fact that there are 7 currencies which are giving really the law of the all to the rest of humanity. This is the G7. So Baha'u'llah says to cut off the financial speculations. We need only one currency, and this will be the currency of the world. I have a friend working in the International Monetary Fund, which is one of the body who takes care of the economy of the world. They know that there is a problem about currency, and they are studying what we will have in the future about a world currency. And there is a committee which is studying the unit of the new world currency for the future. Maybe in 50 years, 100 years, we will have that. I have a friend working in the committee, and he's a Baha'i friend. He was working at the World Bank. And you know what is the name of the future world currency? The unity in diversity. This is the name of the unit of the world currency. This is just to tell you how the globalization of this planet is bringing ideas which are really near to the ideas of Baha'u'llah. Because the people working on the high level, they understand very well that this planet cannot go in the same way. The virus has really discovered that we don't have the structure of the planet to be as a planet, because we have structures of nations, and the level of the nation is not enough to solve worldwide problems. So another idea or instrument to reach the unity of mankind is the language. Now we're speaking in English. My bad English, my European English. But you know, people from Africa, many of them speak French, some speak Spanish. So Baha'u'llah says that to better understand the people of this planet, we should have an auxiliary world language. And this language will be taught in all the schools of the planet in order that the children in a couple of generations can have their own language, plus the auxiliary international language. So the people of the planet would be talking each other in a better way, clarifying and understanding better than with the language we have today. Another idea to get the unity of mankind, this is very important. This is absolutely important. Equal opportunity for men and women. You know, if you go and study the statistics of the planet, 55% of the population of the planet are women. But the women has not the same value of men in this world. There are a lot of discrimination. The discrimination is not only in the Arab countries or in Africa. I'm a businessman. We have a lot of problems due to the fact that in the companies, women are really discriminated. For example, just to make you an example, if you want to if you want to have your company in the how do you say in English, in the la borsa valori, in the come si dice,
stock market.
Yeah, in the financial market, there is a law that a third of the members of the board should be women. When we make a law like this to be part of a board, this means that there is a discrimination against the women. So in the future, we have another discrimination, that we need a law that in the board of director of a company in the world market should have also 1/3 of women, 1/3 of black people, 1/3 of people coming from China or something like this. So you see the way that Baha'u'llah is telling us that the discrimination should be taken out from the education of the people. Since the education of the women inside the family, since they are children. I tell you, but this is not a mystery. In Italy or other countries of the world, especially South Italy, if you have a family with difficulty in the economy, in the family, in the money, they don't have enough money, and have a boy and a girl, who is the one who goes to the university? South Italy, the men, because in a certain moment the women will be married with someone. This is a discrimination which comes from the family. So we have to put the idea of education inside the elementary school and inside the family, in order the women, which are 55% of the population, can contribute to the progress of mankind. And up to now, this is avoided. One more important tool for the world government to have this earth as a country is the problem of resources. You know, if you go and you look at the resources of the planet, let us make an example, the oil. There are few oil countries, mainly Arab countries. This oil is property of the government of the Arab countries. So we have few countries who have such a quantity of money, they don't know what to do with this money. They throw them from the window. So Baha'u'llah is saying that the resources underground the territories are not property of the government of those territories, but should be given to the world government to be shared with justice and equity with the population of the planet. And I was speaking about the oil, but try to speak about agriculture. How many hectares, millions of hectares, were destroyed due to the fact that the government are the owners of those lands? Let us talk about the environment. 40% of the air, the oxygen we breathe, is coming from the Amazonia. If the government of Brazil, which is the owner of Amazonia, will decide to cut the trees in Amazonia, 40% of the oxygen that we breathe, even in Italy, in Malta, will be cut off. So Baha'u'llah says that those resources are not property of the government of Brazil, but should be managed by a world government and shared with equity and justice. And I was talking only about agriculture and oil. We can speak about air. We can speak about the virus. Look at the virus. You don't know, my friends, for how many years we will have the results of this virus in the economy field. Millions of people will be without a job. Millions of people will have the number of calories, which will be not the right number of calories for a dignified life. So what are we going to do on a planetarian scale if we don't have the exact tool, the exact instruments to beat a virus who is already international? So you see, Baha'u'llah has given us a fantastic vision, but not only the vision, but he only gave how to reach a goal, a beautiful goal, which is the goal of world unity. But this is not enough, because we cannot have a world unity with a world government, with a legislative body for the whole planet, with a unique currency, a unique language, same opportunity for men and women. This is not enough, because we also need a different individual. So I'm talking to each one of us. We have to transform ourselves from an Italian, from a Maltese, from a Germany, from a Colombian, into a citizen of the planet. And this means that we have to cut off all the prejudices we have against different colors of the skin, different gender, different ideological attitude, religious prejudices. We have to strip ourselves from all these prejudices. And this is not easy. This will take time, because the world unity cannot be approached only by new structures, by new institutions, by new tools like the currency or the language, but we need a new kind of mankind. Baha'u'llah says that the individual, the human being, is essentially a spiritual human being. And after having fulfilled the primary duties of life, such growing, developing, creating well-being for ourselves and for others, we have to put our interest in our soul. When Baha'u'llah is defining the soul, he is giving a beautiful example. He says that soul of men and women are mines of gems of inestimable values. So we are the mines, we are full of gems of inestimable values. These gems are spiritual gems. When I say spirituals, I mean qualities. I mean of ourselves inside. For example, these inner qualities, we can make some examples, are so many and are really brilliant. For example, some of these gems we know because we have this, one of the major gems is love. It's not only love for your partner, love for your kid, love for your your job. Love is the water of life. Without love, the universes of God would not exist, because love is the attraction of the people, of the planet, of the atoms. Another quality we have inside ourselves is generosity, is humility, is justice. For example, is service, not only to our ego, but service to the community. The virus is teaching us in these days that we have to think that my salvation has no meaning without the salvation of the rest of mankind. Because if I will save myself, this is not the case to solve the problems of mankind. So when Baha'u'llah speaks about individual human being is essential spiritual, says that we have to develop these qualities and put these qualities at the service of mankind at large, to the friends, to the family, to those who are running around us. Of course, it's not easy, because spirituality, I'm coming from a Catholic background because my family was Catholic before becoming a Baha'i. Generally, when you define spirituality in other religions, you think something which is in the clouds. You have to cry, you have to isolate yourself on the top of a mountain, you have to pray the whole day, you have to do something which is absolutely out of any society. In the writings of Baha'u'llah, the beautiful definition of spirituality is love into action. So love into action is a service to help those who are around us to take in hand their own inner qualities and to develop their own spirituality in order they understand that love can be put in action for the beautification of mankind. So even someone who does not believe can put love into action, because love is part of ourselves. And there are many types of love. There is the love of a partner, love of a son, love for the nature, love for the environment, love for the profession, love for the excellence, love for the growth of humanity, love for the future of humanity, love for service. And service is the one that attracts people to a better world. You know, Baha'u'llah, for all these principles and all what he has written about 20,000 tablets. It's about 100 volumes. In a time where it was difficult to find paper, in a time where it was difficult to find pen, in a time where there was not ink, especially because he was inside a prison. He entered in a prison in 1853, and he passed away as a prisoner in 1892. So about 40 years in prison, persecuted, really bastinado, and his family was cut. All his property was taken out, and he was really as a prisoner. But inside the prison, he was writing tablets and letters. In 1868, he had the courage to write letters to the kings of the world, Napoleon III, the Queen Victoria of the Commonwealth, Francis Joseph from the Austrian Empire, the Pope Pius IX. He was the Pope of the Catholic Church, but he was the king of the Catholic Empire. He wrote also to the Tsar Alexander II. And then he wrote to the biggest empire in the world, was the Ottoman Empire, Abdulaziz, the Ottoman dictator, and to the king of Iran, the country from where Baha'u'llah was coming and from where he was captured and put to jail. What he is saying to these kings, what he is writing to the rulers of the world, he writes, this is the time for the unification of mankind. We are in 1868. The way you have to meet together to decide the geographical borders and to decide to go into a new world order with a world government, with a world legislature, and what I've said before during my conversation. Of course, the kings in those days were not interested in anything else than power. So they went on with their war, and Baha'u'llah told to the people, we will reach a unity of mankind from the bottom of the society, from the bottom of the society, from the people of the street, from the poor and from the people like us, through a transformation of the human being with a new idea, with a new focus, with a new vision of the growing of mankind, and slowly, due to the difficulties, economic difficulties, financial crisis, health crisis like the virus, due to the million of people leaving their country for a better world, due to these difficulties, the government will understand that the only way to solve the problem will be to come together and to decide new structures for managing a planet. He died as a prisoner in 1892 in a place near the prison where he was locked for many years before his passing away. The only thing we can say is that when he passed away, he told us, I leave you an ocean of writings. Go and read the writings and take your decisions, one by one, group by group. And if you think that these writings will be the writings for the future, take them and become worker in the vision of the unity of mankind. This is why the Baha'i Faith is a universal faith. This was the title of the conversation of today. The Baha'i Faith is an international, is a universal faith. And I hope that I've been clear in order to let you know the way that you could really approach the writings of Baha'u'llah taking from internet anything you want, because all the writings of Baha'u'llah translated into English are at your disposal into the www.bahai.org, from where you can discharge free of charge all the writings and understand what I've said today. So now I stop here and I leave you some time for asking questions or just to share the ideas and opinions. And I want to tell you, thank you so much for your patience and to be here with me this afternoon.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Thank you very much for the presentation. So dear friends, if you would like to ask questions directly or in the chat, you can write it down if you prefer written questions. So we can.
Don't be shy.
I don't have a question, Pepe.
Okay.
All I want to say that this talk has been tremendously important for me, because I was in a state of confusion, sometimes disbelief of the Baha'i Faith and the Baha'i teachings. But the way you've just introduced it to me, I believe that I have made the right choice. And I would like to thank you for that. That's all I need to ask. There's no questions whatsoever.
Thank you, Aldo. Thank you so much.
Very good.
If you want, I will send to Payam, I will write down what I've said, and I will write to Payam the paper so he can share with you the paper of the talk.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Michael has a hand.
Michael. Okay, please, Michael.
Thank you. Whenever I mention to my friends who aren't Baha'is about the possibility of a world currency, most people tend to think it's impossible. But during the middle of your talk, you made reference to your friend, who I think you were implying that the International Monetary Fund, or some committee of it, is actually looking in currency. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, you know, generally, we have to understand that the people who are at the level of the World Bank or International Monetary Fund are not stupid people. They understand very well which are the difficulties. We have some difficulties in these days, which are the strong currencies. We have 5 currencies, which are really the bosses of the world: the American dollar, the euro, the Chinese yuan, the yen, and the Swiss franc. The problem is that when a country has difficulties, they had to refer with these currencies. For example, I was in Zimbabwe about the last year because I have a daughter. I had a daughter living in Zimbabwe. You know, the Zimbabweans have no relation with the American dollar, and they have printed their own money, and the value of this money is absolutely zero. So the problem is with which these people can live. You have to make an agreement. Many people do not know that in 1971, the President Nixon of the United States of America made a law that all the world trading, planetarian trading, should be done with the dollar. Someone is asking why the oil is calculated in dollars, due to the fact that in 1971, this law from this quotation from Nixon became a worldwide quotation. So those countries who have no relation with the American dollar fell down. This is why we have a lot of poor countries, because they don't have any relation. So this is one of the problems between Europe and America, the dollar and the euro, because you know the problem is a war between these two currencies. So the International Monetary Fund, who is taking care of the economy of the world, of course they are discussing on a weekly basis what are we going to do. It takes time. I have the picture. I have the picture of this unit. You know, €1. I have the unit of the world currency for the future, which is unit in diversity. I have it on my computer. I will send it to Payam in order he can share with you. I was talking with him because this is a friend I will see tomorrow during an international, tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, there is an international meeting. I have to make the closing speech for it's a worldwide meeting with a lot of people about economy, about success of the economy. He will be there. This is Augusto Claros Lopez. He's an economist, very, very high level. He was the chief economist at Davos in Switzerland. So he tells me that there are so many people who think that we are going slowly to the world currency, but we need, before the world currency, the structure of an institution managing economy, because we cannot manage the world currency with the G7. We need a G200. So, do you understand myself? So we have to go slowly, but we will reach, because all the difficulties we have, the financial difficulties, the fact that we have the virus now with a lot of difficulties for the future, this will help the politicians to push the people and the decision of the government to the cooperation of all the nations of the world. It takes time, but this is the only way. Someone was asking me some days ago, why Baha'u'llah, who is the founder of a faith? Because the Baha'i faith, in reality, is not a religion in the traditional way, because we don't have clergy, we don't have dogmas, we don't have theological problems. Why he's speaking about economy? Because he's the founder of a religion. Because the Baha'i faith is not a traditional religion. It's a movement for the unification of the world. So this is why he speaks about God, about religion, about spiritual human beings, but he also speaks about important instruments to reach the goal of unity of mankind. Because without that, it will be impossible. So this is why, because he is the teacher. You know, at the beginning I was saying that God, when he created his mankind, he made a promise that sometimes he would send teachers to teach mankind some principles to allow mankind to grow up through a better civilization. Today, part of these teachings are teachings from economy, are teachings about education, are teachings about social problems, because this is totally part of a society which will be united. I tell you something more. If you go into details inside the writings of Baha'u'llah, he also speaks for the business people. How to manage a company, how to manage agriculture, why agriculture is so important for the planet, how to talk about environment, how to talk about energy. All these items are part of the writings of Baha'u'llah, because he is the teacher of the unity of mankind. And inside the unity of mankind, there are also these items that should be solved. Yeah.
Pepe, I must agree. I must tell you that I agree on everything, and I must thank you for what you are telling us. But because I agree on everything. But can I add one word to the word of love? Because love, my friends knows that love is my word. But can I add love with respect? Because I don't think that you cannot have love without respect in every situation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we should have a session about love, because this is the water of life. You know, nature cannot live without water, Anything you put into the ground without water, it dies. Human being cannot live without love. But there is a misunderstanding about love, because love is the whole universe is showing us what is love. From the atomic side to the galaxy, to the cosmos, to the very large universes. Love is the strength that take together the people. And it's very clear. The physical is the attraction of the planets, is the attraction of the atoms, is the attraction of the universes. This is because this is, we can see physically that all the planets stay together because this is the love, the attraction is part of love. For the human being, love is something more, because the human being is at the top level of evolution, because we have the mineral world, we have the animal world, we have the agriculture world, we have the animal world, and then we have man. Man is at the border of this love, which is from physical love and spiritual love. We need to have a session about that, because without love, man dies. But love has many, many meanings. There is not only one love. There is love for yourself, there is love for your friends, there is love for your partner, there is love for your kids, there is love for the manifestation of God, there is love for the environment, there is love for the planet, there is love for God. There is a lot of love. And spirituality is love into action. Because if you love yourself and you don't put this love into action, this has no meaning. Because the concept of love is for others. You love someone, you have to do something for someone. So love is an action you have to do for those who are around you. It's not for yourself. Because for yourself, it's only ego. The example is given by these spiritual teachers, Jesus Christ, Moses, Abraham, Baha'u'llah. Why they gave their life for love? They gave their life for us. And this is the idea, this is the example that is coming from these people.
So there are...
Thank you very much.
There are two questions. One is this, says that what is the best way I can serve the cause of unity today as an individual? And the second one is, how did you manage to find the balance between serving this idea of the unity of mankind, the faith that you were mentioning, and dealing with material life?
Okay, so the first question is very easy. The way to teach is just to give the vision of what Baha'u'llah said on a global scale and on individuals. It's very easy. On global scale is unification of mankind, on individual to become a better person on the world without prejudices. This is enough. This is the right vision. Teaching the faith is not to convince the people to become Baha'is. It's to convince the people to have the right vision of the planet and of the individual. So we have to have a better, we must become better in our essence, and our essence becomes better when we take out all the prejudices related to the world around us. The second one is very important, because you know, individuals have three main channels. The second is our profession, the third is our faith. These three should go together. Sometimes there is a small priority. For example, if you are a father and mother, you have children, so education and family has a little priority. When the family has grown up, priority becomes maybe your profession. And at my age, I have done my career. My kids are men and are grown up at a certain age, so I can dedicate myself more to the faith. But these three are three pillars, and then they must be balanced. So my personal opinion is that you cannot be a good Baha'i if you don't have a good family, if you don't have a good profession. And profession does not mean that you are a consultant of a multinational company. You can also be an art, an handicraft, but do it with excellence, because Baha'u'llah says that the best way of prayer is work, working for the benefit of mankind. So you see, the best way of praying is working for a better mankind. So if you work in excellence and you do it for amelioration of the society around you, you are praying 8 hours a day. The people is absolutely shocked. I am very sorry. I am very sorry you are shocked of what I'm saying.
Sorry, we are not shocked. We are shocked because listening to you is so fantastic. You gave us so many food for thoughts
Yeah,
that
but
incredible.
this is not from me. These are coming from the writings of Baha'u'llah. So you have to believe in him, not in me.
It is.
Okay.
I'm just a channel. I'm just a channel through which the wisdom of Baha'u'llah is passing through my voice and goes to your computer.
What a channel, però.
Okay.
That is why we're all so quiet, because you were talking the truth.
Okay. Okay. I think that we will have another session maybe in 15 days' time on another subject. You
Yeah.
ask Payam the subject you should like, and we will try to manage together.
Yeah, you mentioned already a subject. Maybe that could be interesting. This idea of love is the water of life.
Or we can also have an idea.
Yes, yes.
Or what else we can have?
No, or what is the contribution of the religions to the world unity or something like this, just to understand what, by anyone you like. Okay, we will talk about that.
Yeah, we'll
Write to Payam the subject you should like to have, and we will discuss together.
Okay. I was trying to read.
Okay.
There's a big, long one in the chat, which is in a way. Are there any other questions? Maybe someone has something to ask. If not,
Okay.
I'm just gonna share with all of you the link for the book of Beppe, which is available for download.
You can also download. There is a small book. You can also download. It's very easy. This is a tribute I did for Baha'u'llah in the bicentennial of his birth. You can find it you can find it in the website. It's a very simple book where I recount the history of Baha'u'llah, the story of Baha'u'llah, and few ideas that we have shared today. You can download it as well. A tribute to the Baba Baha'u'llah in the bicentennial of their birth. Do you find it in the website, Payam? Is there?
Yeah, there is, yes.
But Payam, you can give us, tell us.
Yes.
You can send us the
Can you show the cover?
Yes, I will show the cover right now. I will. So here, let me share the screen. In the page where there is this, this is the website of Beppe, and here the books. See that at the top there is books, and then there is this on the right hand side. There are two. One is this, the Economy for New World Order, and this one is for the Bicentenary. It's the book actually, as you can see, a tribute to Baha'u'llah and the Bab on the bicentenary of their birth, and this is the cover. You can see that. And the book is there. You can download and read it. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Beppe, for all this that you are sharing with us. And as I said at the beginning, the website is full of resources and full of amazing PowerPoint, articles, videos. So it is really a gem. I invite you all to have a look and see what Beppe has to share with all of us.
So, okay, Payam, okay, each one of you, a big hug, and thank you so much for your patience and to be with me this afternoon. I love you so much.
Thank you very much.
Beppe.
We love you too a lot.
Thank you. Thank you,
Have a
Beppe.
nice time
Thank you
tomorrow.
for everything.
And if you go swimming, swim,
No,
swim also for me. Swim also for me.
non andiamo a nuotare, no, non ti preoccupare.
Definitely will do.
Ok,
Ciao Beppe, ciao Payam.
Beppe.
ciao,
Good night,
grazie.
everybody. Thank you, Payam.
Thank
Grazie,
you.
grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao, Washington. Ciao, Yvette. Ciao, Maria. Ciao, Bahadur.
ciao,
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 Estrat. Ciao, Rehan. Ciao, Balan.
E grazie ancora, Beppe.
Ciao, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.